Hey everyone, welcome to my show, My So-Called Fabulous. We are back again with this fabulous woman. I begged her to record this particular episode. She was on Elise Clark with Dr. Leigh Ann Scott's office in Irving, and I just said, can you please help us talk about this, because you are asking about Ozempic, the weight loss medication. And I don't know. You ask me all the time. I don't know, but we're bringing in an expert. So everyone, welcome back to the show, Elise Clark.
Hi, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, that happened. That was a turn of events. You were in the studio.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, we haven't prepped for this, but would you mind talking about weight loss, please?
Yeah, it's a great topic.
I mean, okay, we were talking with Debbie earlier, another nurse practitioner and provider at Dr. Leigh Ann Scott's office in Irving. You know, you are a nurse practitioner as well, and you actually see my daughter. We've talked about that. So blessed to have you and all of your wealth of information. But you know what, Elise, I'm getting so many of my followers and my listeners and viewers ask me personally about Ozempic. Okay. I didn't even know how to say it, y'all. I keep asking my daughter, what's it? Because it is so media heaven and heavy and driven right now.
It is.
Okay. In your office, you have a questionnaire.
Yes.
Tell me what the top 3 questions would be for a patient coming to you.
So, you know, we were talking about this beforehand, and one of the biggest things that people say they want help with is weight loss. And whether it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, beyond that, you know, they need to lose a significant amount of weight. Debbie and I both kind of agreed that about 95% of our patients come in wanting to either lose a certain amount of weight or tone up or somehow improve their kind of physicality when they come see us.
Right. And Debbie was on the show after you. We were talking about hormones and my age and about 35 to my age. So, okay, let's talk about this because it is the buzzword. Why? Okay, I didn't realize that Ozempic has been around for a while.
It has. So prior to moving into functional medicine, I was in family practice and an endocrinology clinic where we treated a lot of type 2 diabetics. And Ozempic has been around for quite a long time for treatment of type 2 diabetes. And it is an injectable. You do it once per week. The medication has what we call a long half-life, so it stays in your system for that full time period in between injections. And it was originally studied to treat blood sugar issues. And then these drug companies were smart. They figured out, people are losing a significant amount of weight. Let's rebrand it as a weight loss medication. Kind of to make more money, but I would like to think there was good intentions behind it of helping people lose some weight as well. So yeah, it's been around for quite a while, and it's just now entering the market more as a weight loss because the FDA said it could officially be used for weight loss now.
I have someone in my life that was actually put on this medication, I'm not a physician, I'm a podcaster, but for type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
Okay, so was put on it. Huge success. Help me if I'm mistaken. Out of type 2, not type 2 anymore. That's a thing, right? Okay. This person lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
Ready to get off. His lifestyle has changed. Food, movement, activity, huge success. Huge success.
Yeah.
That is your ideal patient, right?
It is. So anything that we use to help someone reach their weight loss goals, along with whatever that is, whether it's hormones or something like Ozempic or the generic is called semaglutide, the goal is to help them make lifestyle changes while they're on it. So, you kind of have to be in this deficit for a while to actually lose weight. But at the same time, we want you to be changing your lifestyle. So that way, whenever you get off of a medication or whatever we're using to help you lose weight, you can actually maintain. You don't have to be in that deficit anymore, but your lifestyle should allow you to be able to maintain that weight loss you've achieved.
Is that a challenge for you as a provider?
It is, because it is easier to rely on a medication than it is to eat clean and exercise really regularly. So sometimes I think these types of medications for weight loss get a bad reputation because people will gain the weight back afterwards because they aren't making the proper lifestyle changes as well. The way I view this medication is it is a tool to help people make better choices. And if they're able to get in those habits of making better choices and rewire their thinking of their relationship with food, the relationship with exercise, they can more easily maintain that when they come off of the medication.
Okay, so the press and media has certainly put this in my mind, in my head, that if you get off it, you're automatically going to gain the weight back. That is not true, right?
It has not been my experience with my patients,
Right.
no. But again, it goes back to what are they doing when they're on the
Sure.
medication? Because you will lose weight just taking it. You could eat a hamburger a day, take this medication, still lose a ton of weight. But if you get off of it and you go back to still eating those hamburgers every day, you're losing the benefit of the medication with your metabolism. So it's going to have the same effect it had before.
Right.
So, I think it's very individualized. You might fluctuate a little bit more off the medication just because life isn't always perfect. But it has not been my experience, no, that people gain their weight back.
Elise, is the goal to get off the medication? Is that a goal?
Yes. My goal in being a functional medicine provider is always keep people on the least amount of things possible, whether that's prescription medication or supplement. So this is a tool in our tool belt. We want to use it as long as we need to, but ultimately, I want to help people get off of it. And the interesting thing about this that I've had some good success with is my patients that tend to do more binging, kind of binge eating disorders or emotional connections to food. This medication has been more helpful than others in helping them break that cycle. It suppresses your appetite by making you feel more full. It keeps food around in your stomach a little bit longer. You digest things more slowly. So that sends signals to your brain that you're full. So instead of seeing that chocolate cake and having to eat the whole thing, one of my patients said that she had a bite, put it in the fridge for later, and then for the first time in her entire life, she forgot she had dessert in her house.
Wow.
And so I think it's really good to help break those emotional cycles with food as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. So that is how the drug
That is
actually
how
works.
it works. And then it also helps increase your own sensitivity to insulin, and it decreases the release of extra sugar stored in your liver. So that's why it was designed for type 2 diabetics, because of those reasons. And then they realized that even if you don't have type 2 diabetes, you can still take it and your blood sugar will not get too low.
So you were telling me at your offices, Dr. Scott's office, and the patients you treat, you compound this. So this drug can go generic. What am I saying?
Yes. So Ozempic is the brand. It was developed by I don't remember which company owns them, but they went through the FDA. They got approval for it. So it is their trademark is Ozempic at certain doses. So what we can do now that it's available, so certain patents with these companies have to run out for us to be able to compound things. So what we can do is we can compound the base medication, which is semaglutide, by combining it with other things. We actually put B6 in it because one of the side effects is nausea, and B6 helps with nausea. So we start the dosing off very slow and go up slowly so that we help prevent that. But we can compound it. It's still fairly expensive, but it's cheaper than trying to get Ozempic because in some cases, I can't say that as a blanket statement, but if you don't have specific diagnoses, like if you don't have type 2 diabetes, if you don't have insulin resistance, it can be really hard for your insurance to actually cover the cost of the drug for you. And it's kind of scarce right now as well. So that's another reason why we're compounding it so people have access to it.
Wow. The population that I know, I know two people that are actually on it. One had a very specific goal in mind to lose weight because her joints, just everything that, the side effects of being obese are to have
they're painful.
Right? Yeah. There's that. So, this is why I have you here today, is to discuss this and to dispel the myths. But she was telling me that, and she's lost 35 pounds since Thanksgiving, and feeling very good, but the nausea was just...
It can be rough for some patients, and it's not going to affect everybody. And we actually go a little bit slower than even the branded Ozempic dosing is to try to help prevent that side effect even more. But there's certain tips and tricks with how you eat, when you take it, time of day. But we also sometimes just use medications for nausea. to help people get through it until their body gets adjusted to it. Zofran actually works really well, the drug that we use a lot for postoperative nausea and pregnancy and stuff like that. So sometimes it can be necessary to treat the nausea, and most of the time it kind of, people grow out of it, so to speak.
My other person that I know in my life that's on it is not overweight. I mean, it's if I say one day, if I have a pizza on, not a whole pizza, but if I have pizza on one night or go and have Asian food, I'm going to gain a few pounds because it's what? Salt.
Water weight.
Okay. All right. You tell us, we're not candidates for that. Would you tell a patient no?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I'm very honest with people because I don't think this is for everybody. I think that the negative stories we're hearing about it in the press, or, like the Ozempic face, we were talking about that. I think that happens mostly in people who are doing things to lose weight too quickly, or they're losing too much weight.
Right.
If you need to lose 10 or 15 pounds and you have no insulin resistance, no blood sugar problems, your cholesterol is fine, you're not really a good candidate for this.
Okay.
It's our patients who need to lose a little bit more weight. They're showing signs of metabolic disease like high cholesterol, insulin resistance. Those are the really ideal candidates for this particular program.
So if you had a person or a client, a patient come in, would you say, let's try this first, or let's try?
My number one thing will always be eat well, exercise. If we can't get it off that way, and I'm balancing your hormones, you're either female or male, we're working with estrogen, testosterone, thyroid, the right supplements. Majority of the time, that can help reset the metabolism. And when you make the effort, you're going to lose. This is more for those extreme cases where there is insulin resistance. So there's that added factor working against them. And that's why I do like this drug, is for those particular patients who have more of the blood sugar abnormalities along with it.
And does that come with age, stage of life, or is it all of the above?
The answer is E, as Dr. Scott always says. E is the answer, all of the above.
Yes.
It can be genetics. It can be hormonal changes. A lot of it can go back to lifestyle, being too sedentary, eating too much processed food and sugar. That's going to spike your sugars and cause insulin resistance and make it a lot harder to lose weight.
So another thing I've heard, again, y'all, I've heard it all, I'm pretty sure, but I'm sure you have too. Is it true you should not be drinking on this medication, drinking alcohol?
There's no contraindication, meaning it's not a statement that's made by the research didn't show that you cannot drink on it, but almost every single patient who's on it tells me that they don't really want to drink.
Okay.
They have a lot less craving for it, a lot less tolerance for it. So again, going back to that kind of emotional connection or ritualistic connection with food and alcohol, it just helps break it because you can stop thinking about food, stop thinking about alcohol. Yeah.
That's good.
It is really good. That's what I like it for those patients too who have more of that emotional issue with food. So
you mentioned that I can't say this word,
Semaglutide.
I said it there, that you're compounding.
Yeah.
So are these drugs, you mentioned cost a minute ago, but I want to ask again, are they expensive?
They can be. If you have the right diagnosis codes that your insurance likes, and then it's prescribed, like the Ozempic, and there's some other brands out there as well that are just competitors for it.
Sure.
You can get coverage from insurance. Sometimes there's manufacturers' coupons that make it affordable, but if you don't have the perfect diagnosis to get it covered with your insurance, it can be hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Oh, good grief.
So yeah, the compounding versions are still fairly expensive. I don't remember the price off the top of my head, but it's a lot less than doing the branded versions.
And I think you mentioned this in the beginning. It is an injection.
It is an injection once per week, same time of the week. You put it on lower abdomen is really the best place. And you just have this tiny little 1/2-inch needle, and it doesn't sting, doesn't burn. Most people, unless they're really scared of needles, say it's no big deal.
And you're saying this because you self-administer.
Yes, you do. And if you need someone else to give it to you, the pharmacy that we use is Las Colinas Pharmacy. They will give it to people if they need them to. But for the most part, people are giving it themselves or their spouse is giving it.
That's why I won't take it. That's why. And Greg Blackmon, you are not giving it to me. He'll go, there you go.
I think some spouses like to get a little revenge that way.
For sure.
You know?
For sure. Well, I can't tell you how, I'm just so appreciative. You were in the studio. She was here today. And I said, hey, you want to talk about this
I love
too?
to talk about it. Yeah.
I do. I appreciate you
You're
so
welcome.
much for all you do in Dr. Scott's office, everyone. So tell us how we can find you.
So our Instagram is Leigh Ann Scott MD, and our website is actually the same thing, leighannScottMD.com. And then there's, me, Debbie, we're the nurse practitioners. And then we have Cam, she's a PA, and of course, Dr. Scott, who we all love.
We all love. We all love. We see them and everyone. Thank you so much for listening in today and watching on YouTube. Go and rate and review this episode and subscribe. We're trying to get up there in the YouTube world. And everyone, do the research. You have one body. Take care of it. And you know how to do this. Call Dr. Scott and her team. And everyone have a wonderful day and keep being fabulous.